Hey Cindy, you made it.
Hey, I'm so sorry. I got so sick. I don't know
Oh, you
what.
got sick? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So,
Oh, you're good. It happens. I'm hoping that everyone can hear you.
uh,
This is my first time using Zoom. You were like my trial run.
oh, okay.
So yeah, this is a new podcast idea that I had. That where we do a bit of gaming and we interview someone like yourself or something like that. And I got some really big ones coming up. Not that you're not big, but
Sounds cool. I like your little logo there. Little, what is that, a dragon?
yeah, that's a dragon because in Ark we fly around on wyverns and drakes and
Nice.
all sorts of things. But we're
Cool.
not here to be interviewed about Ark. So sorry you're feeling not feeling well. My partner was supposed to come on as well, but she's not feeling well as well. So I think she got a headache from one of her kids or something.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I don't know if I'm on live or whatever, but I was just so
Yeah, you're
nauseous.
live.
It was like so. Yeah, it was like my stomach was turning, and it was like I caught like food poisoning or something. I don't know. I just got like really sick. And so I
Huh.
tried to lay down for a little while, and that's when I lost track of time.
Oh, you're good. We normally stream for an hour, 2 hours, so we understand. You're here now. Everyone can hear you, so we are good.
Oh, good, great.
So I guess, God, I've known you for what, 6 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now you've migrated.
Migrated. Yes, I
Now you're
have.
the nomad. Now you're the nomad.
Can't bring me a hard drive to fix anymore.
I know, right?
Well, you could, but I think it's a 15-hour drive.
Be a little ways. So
But
how is it now where you're at?
it's good. Um, I've just slammed. I've been working with my partner's brother, and he's helping me set up some little art events and stuff here. So, got a lot of calls to make.
Mm, cool. Sounds fun.
So, sorry you're not feeling well.
So what kind of games are you guys playing?
We play Ark Survival Evolved. So basically, what that is we tame and ride dinosaurs. I guess is the
Well, that
gist of
sounds
it.
cool.
And I'm actually the owner of the cluster one of the owners of the cluster that everyone plays on. So we have a full community.
Nice. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Not shine horns. I love my Rexes.
Yeah. Nice.
So let's get started. What you want to tell everyone a bit about your career and what got you started in the horror industry?
Yeah, well, I'm a writer, a special effects makeup artist, and a filmmaker, horror host with the Horror Tour Guide. I also have another website called Women of Color in Horror, and we celebrate um, women of color in the horror industry, but thriller sci-fi. Um, I like horror, like, out of all the genres and stuff, it's just something that I've always gravitated to. It's always a genre that, I've admired for its creativity and and because I work with special effects, it's probably where I fit most at home with. And I'm, working on some upcoming stuff and, getting back into the grind. Got a documentary right now, horror doc in post production right now.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's about people with disabilities in the horror industry. So that's a really exciting project because I have like sci-fi film director Albert Pune, Black Yellow director William Crane, and actor Michael Berryman's in it too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we got a nice a few celebrities in it, and it's to raise awareness. Yeah, standing behind a good cause, and these creatives that sometimes struggle to get to the next phase in their careers because of the fact that people limit them due to their disabilities. So,
Yeah.
but they still continue to make films and or work in them regardless. And some are more blessed than others, but it was definitely a refreshing topic. It was definitely a different perspective, that you might not even consider when you're watching films where, people that aren't disabled pose with disabilities or movies about people with disabilities or how, people are represented in the industry on and off the camera. So a lot of important topics that we grace upon. And yeah, so I got my fingers crossed for that. I'm working on we're trying to get a short finish because I had a little bit of an issue with post production. So we're trying to get the short finish and trying to get just to get something out there for now, and then we're gonna follow through with the
Sort of
feature.
like your own little sizzle reel, I believe they call it.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I'm working on an upcoming show, called The Black Curtain, and it's basically different topics and stuff like that. Actually, Matthew, you might be interested in one of them because it's going to be one of the episodes is about a cursed paintings.
Ha! Cursed paintings. I love cursed paintings.
Yeah,
Uh,
I always wanted to do something on that. So
I
yeah, yeah,
particularly like the children's hand one that floats around.
yeah, the crying boy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one. And I spoke with someone that has a cursed painting in his museum, and so it's um pretty interesting, stuff, and just trying to get some stuff out this year, and then next year kind of go a little harder with the movie making. Working on a sci-fi film. Um, I'm almost done with like a fantasy horror, and I have like this other hereditary style horror film
Huh.
that I'd like to do, but yeah, we'll see. It's really more about like the ideas are there, the materials there. It's just it always comes down to money, and if you don't
Yeah.
have the right money or the right equipment, then it's really hard to make, get some of those visions out the right way. So then you have to try to just push the script and see if somebody, picks that up or whatever. But it's always a hustle, but I love it. I love this stuff.
Well, it sounds like you're following your passion there, so that's good. Not many people get to do that these days.
Yeah. Well,
So, why did you start your horror group there? You've got, what, 20,000 members or something now? That's insane.
where?
Facebook.
Oh, well, it's a mix of um Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I think we're on Pinterest too. Even though I don't really get that shit. It's kind of connected to the website, so it's like when I post, I can send the post to Pinterest. I don't really fuck with Pinterest, I don't really, I'm
Yeah.
not really, I mean, I like it or whatever, but sometimes when you're trying to get information or whatever, it just gets weird. So yeah. Um, but we got a lot of followers and on the website too. But it's a lot to maintain at times, We've been running for years, but now I'm trading off again. Uh gotta find gotta try to like get more into like learning the the back portion of my website, you know. So yeah, but how are you doing?
Me? I'm doing okay. Yeah, I guess it's weird interviewing a friend because you don't talk too much because it's like, hang on, we need to catch up as well.
I
But
know.
no, when COVID hit, all the industries took a major backlash, like art industry, the whole lot. And the one industry that seemed to flourish more than others was gaming. So, um, we started in Borderlands 3 like years ago. I ran a small community of 200 strong, and then it just evolved into what we do now. So it's
Have you
good.
ever thought about like making your own video games?
I did try that once and fell completely flat on my face.
Ah,
So we just host these maps. I
gotcha.
can break someone else's game instead of my own. But
Mm.
so what would you say is one of the hardest adversaries to go over when you're a I guess independent filmmaker?
Come again?
What's the hardest adversary you face as an independent filmmaker? Like, what's the hardest thing out there in the industry?
What's the hardest thing out there in the industry?
Yeah.
I would have to say being a female doing what I do, you know. It's you know, I'm pretty open to working with people, but like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like as a female, like I don't get the same respect, or I'm not taken seriously and until I bombard, my timeline with shit that I do, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I feel like I steady have to I have to constantly be interacting and putting stuff out there and or trying to be, productive and it's still like kind of like it's always like I don't know. Like I do have a following, but I feel like there's people that do less that that really get the support um and I feel like when it comes to like I feel like I gotta hustle a little bit more, like for example, like when I was raising money, I was only raising $3,000 for finishing funds because I didn't need any money to make the film, and the people that were working on the film were all volunteering. I mean, we all did this because we wanted to do this project. So I have an animator that volunteered his time. I had a guy that was editing that was also a part of the film, and then I'm doing my part as well, and we're I mean nobody's really getting paid for it, but I wanted to like try to give something, to the people that were helping and stuff, and I'm like I was literally only raising $3,000, and that was like not easy. That was not easy to raise $3,000, and I think it was a month's time. It was really like where there's people that I know that are like asking for 40, $50,000 finishing funds. I just like just a little bit of money just to throw it in a couple of film festivals and maybe we'll get lucky, and
Yeah.
somebody will take it seriously or pick it up or something. But you know, but nothing like some of these crowdfunders, like they like extorting people, and these people are like it's like a feeding frenzy, like they're just throwing money at it, and I'm like, what the fuck is the secret? For real, it's just like certain things just don't make sense to me, but I know when it comes down to it, it's just it's the support, it's the following, it's and I just feel like sometimes, and it's more of a struggle for me, to get past certain barriers. But you just got to keep on keeping on because I love this. I love, and it'll only stop when I stop it. So, but now it's a matter of just trying to do other things to try to feed that passion because that passion is not really making me money right now, but it's just continuing to create and try to get things out there. I mean, I have a lot of great ideas. I plan to, fingers crossed, if all goes well. I'm speaking with somebody out in New Mexico that's interested in producing and helping me, work on the sci-fi feature. Um, and So, if I could get a small budget together, could keep getting investors and stuff, and who knows.
Yeah.
But these people actually have equipment. So, if he can even, like, I worked with a whole production company for years, never really like putting in money. We just all had something to offer and we all brought it to the table and collaborated and made films. So it's like I had the camera, and I think like maybe two other people in my production company had a camera. And so, we all wrote our films and we all helped each other out. So we all had like, teams, we had locations, money. I mean, like it was like very little money would go into the things that we wanted, like maybe like props for like makeup or something like that. But every now and then, like, the opportunity calls for something like a little bit, you know, something worth money. But a lot of times we just made movies with little to no budget, and we made 40 films in 1 year, you
Holy
know?
crap.
And that was when I was in New York. So also part of it is being in a state where I don't really know too many people, or too many people don't really know my work ethic or my hustle flow, or, and getting a team together is like, a lot of people are like flaky, and it's just very hard to rely on people out here in New York. It was different. It was a different flow. Like, everybody was like-minded. We all wanted to make these films. We all put in the effort to help each other make these films. We had, big ass shows that people paid to see, to come watch our stuff. And we did this for a little while until, somebody from our production company had passed away, and then it kind of fell all apart. But yeah, it was a nice run. We had a nice run when we had it. But out here in Florida is really more like kind of just doing it on my own, and you know,
Don't have
and
the
it kind of
same
sucks
network.
because it's like, I don't really know where to go. I try to reach out to the colleges, and then those fucking students are picky as fuck. It's like, how are you picky? Like, I would take anything for the experience, bro. But it's not always like that. It's fun. But it's fun. I love this shit. I mean, to me it's like it's more of like, you with the gaming, it's like it's a passion, it's a hobby, right? But if you can make money from it, that's a freaking plus. But ultimately, even if that money wasn't there, you'd still be doing it. And that's how I feel about film. It's like I've made money from working on films, and from working as an individual filming stuff, like events and stuff like that. And that paid off the last set of equipment that I had. But it's just, I even though I'm not really making money, it hasn't stopped me from creating. It's like, I keep getting these ideas, and I'm like, and, actually I'm working on, I just solidified my LLC with Bloodstain Films.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's my upcoming production company. But what I want to do is kind of like, it's going to be like a hybrid at first, because I need to build content for my production company. And right now we only have a film and possibly this like little mini series that I plan to launch for the month of October. But uh, I lost my train of thought right now.
So what
But
platform is your mini-series going to be on? Just YouTube, or you going
yeah,
for...
I'm thinking like YouTube, Vimeo. It's not, I mean, so far, that the Black Curtain, that's what it's called. It's kind of like an Outer Limits Twilight Zone kind of feel, but it's really touching on this whole season. And really my season is just for the month of October, so it's like the 4 weeks. We're gonna do like maybe 4 shows. And it's just really just to kind of see if people are interested in it, if it picks up, because then I have so much more ideas to execute, and bringing on other like guest speakers and stuff like that. But right now this is just a trial, so I'm not gonna go all out with making, dedicating too much time into, making too many episodes. So right now it's just gonna be a mini series about four, and it's all about cursed objects, but they're categorized, by weekly episodes. So like I said, one of them is gonna be like haunted paintings, like the cursed paintings, and um, but it's all about cursed objects in some way, shape, or form, and uh, and yeah, and so I've been talking to people that are going to be guests on the show. And then hopefully, if it works out well and I get enough people that are interested, then I'm going to work on doing a second one. And it'll probably be like a full season of maybe like 8 episodes or something. And that won't be, the release will be like the whole thing it's going to be every October. So it's going to
So
be.
around Halloween. Nice.
Yeah, it's just like this a special, like like the Halloween special. You know how like during the month of October, that's when all the streaming platforms, they all celebrate with like horror movies and 31 days of Halloween or Shocktober or whatever they call, their little marketing thing. But it's all kind of like just to celebrate, the fall, whatever. And so yeah, it'll be between October and November, and so that's the goal that I have right now for that, and it's gonna be free for right now. Hopefully, you know, who knows if it's something that maybe the Sci-Fi Network would like to be, to pick up.
Yeah, honestly, it sounds like something I'd watch on Discovery Plus or something.
Yeah, if I could make an interesting enough show, who knows? You know, I don't want a boring show, but I actually came across wanting to do this because I was just watching like some YouTube, those like, top tens or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was looking at one about cursed objects, and ironically enough, one had popped up in my washing machine the following day. And I'm like, what? And I totally forgot I had that. And it's supposedly a cursed object, and that was donated to me for an event. Do you recall that I was gonna do that like horror festival?
Yes, and you're talking to an actor who we won't mention because we are streaming, but he was an arrogant fuck and you didn't want anything to do with him in the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then that fell through because half of like the people that said they were gonna help me, they all kind of flaked out. See, again, this is the Florida vibe that I get from these people, right? But so I decided that I was gonna do it the following year on my own, but just kind of like a smaller venue instead of a two-part thing. And whatchamacallit, and then the pandemic hit and it never happened.
Yeah.
So I got stuck with this fucking item. And is the person who gave it to me had bought it, and it has to deal with like a murder, a big, very famous, you know massacre that took place. And this this object that I have comes from the house. And so, you know, when he purchased the item, I had warned him. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't even go anywhere near that shit. And he's like, oh, yeah. But ever since I had told him that, he was getting nothing but bad luck since he had it. And like a lot of bad things were happening to him to the point that he was getting sick. And he was like, listen, Cindy, I got to get rid of this. Like, can I send this to you? And
Can you
I
get
was
this off
like,
my hands?
yeah, because he was like, I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, well, I have like the little horror vault, and we're about to do like that silent auction. And look, it was all genuine. It was like, I wasn't trying to exploit, the person, the dead people that died in this house or anything like that. It was very brutal massacre, and a very famous one too. And but the funny thing is that, within the time frame that I've had this, just a lot of weird things have transpired. Like things that beyond like, what the fuck is wrong with my luck lately? It's like I've never had luck like this, but then putting two and two together and then finding this shit the other day in my I'm like, wait a second, this is crazy, because I was thinking about doing, and then hence the show was born. I said, okay, I'm gonna do this show. And I'm you know, when I reconnected with the person that sent me the cursed object, I'm like, dude, things are happening. And he's like, see, I told you. And I'm like, look, man, I can't keep this shit in my house anymore, you know. But it's funny because it's like I have put it originally. I have put it, to, I've never touched the object. It's in a Ziploc bag. He sent it to me in an envelope. I just kind of ripped open the envelope just to see it, and then I threw it into a Ziploc bag and then tossed it up in my linen closet where my little laundry room. And I'm like, technically speaking, it's not inside of the house. It's outside because you have to, go out to the backyard. So kind of like there's these sliding doors, and then there's like a little laundry closet in my like little California room. So
Then they call it a Florida room, not a California room, aren't
yeah,
you
they
in
call it a
Florida?
California room in Florida. Isn't that
That's
funny?
that's really weird. So, so anyway, Utah here in the streamers asked, "What's your niche? Supernatural, paranormal, witchcraft, and magic, murder?
What's my niche?
Yeah, what's your niche?"
Um, in terms of the kind of films that I like to make,
Probably, yeah. I would say make.
um, I would say more like I would say more like supernatural horror. I would say I don't know. That's a hard question to answer because I like a lot of fantasy shit. I would say that I do write a lot of things of the supernatural realm, like werewolves and vampires and stuff like that. But then again, I've made like right now I'm working on a feature about a demon, so it would be like I like creatures.
So you,
and I
so you
and I
like
would
me,
say it falls in the
crypto.
yeah, it falls in kind of like the fantasy realm. I like all I just like all the creatures. I like you know the monsters and the creatures, and so I guess that would fall like fantasy sci-fi kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's all horror. They're just subgenres of horror.
So Mr. Given here says, "Have you tried going to Full Sail Uni to try and get some people to work on your project with you?" I think
Yes, I
that's
have.
you have.
Actually, when I mentioned the school, that was exactly who I was talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had reached out to them for a sci-fi short because there was a big opportunity that if we could have made the film, there was a good chance that like the Bloomhouse team were gonna see it because they were a host on this panel for this contest, and a lot of people. It was like a big opportunity for like women of color. Actually, they were looking for female directors of color, and I wrote up a script, and I mean, this was a short script. This is like maybe could have been no more than 5 minutes. I mean, like, and taking up people's times no more of maybe like 2 to 3 hours of their time. I mean, it was a really short, very well thought out script, and I did that because somebody recommended that I do that to go contact Full Sail, which I did. I had to fill out an application. I had to describe what the project was about, which kind of made me feel uncomfortable because I'm like kind of disclosing my ideas for this shit. For
Yeah.
all I know, they could have all just like took my idea and just like, oh, look, there's this contest. Let's just do one ourselves. Since we're in school anyway, and we have like all this like equipment to our, you know, we could use it to our advantage. But that's the fun part about being in college. And so yeah, I did, and it never worked out, so it didn't get made. But I do have a script.
You do have a script.
I do have a script.
Is it a solid script?
Yeah, it's a solid script. It's a fun little short, and it's a sci-fi short. I made it specifically for this contest, but but I'm thinking, I have a script now. I eventually when I get some equipment, then I could definitely make this script, and I mean I could make this like film. It's gonna be a short, but it's a cool short, and yeah, I'm like really trying to get into sci-fi lately. I've noticed like the last 3 scripts that I've written are sci-fi related.
So, Utah here asks again. This is somewhat cliche, but do you like the show Supernatural?
Okay, is that the one with the brother Akin, the Akin guy?
I think so. Yeah.
I started watching the series and I think it's okay. My problem with those series is that I hate like the repetitiveness of like of the storyline. So it's like there's no like it always comes down to a creature that they have to defeat. Now the creatures, I love it. They're from what I seen, because I didn't make it past season 1, and I know there's a whole shitload of them, and I still would like to finish the series, but from what I seen, it was kind of like, okay, so here's the story, and somehow they're involved in this whatever mythological creature that they have to destroy, but they're gonna destroy it, and by the end of the season, even though they come close to death, they always win. So there's like, you know what I mean? To me, is there's no
Originality.
originality in that. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like a boring storyline, you
So,
know.
Mr. Demos here, he said, why don't you try something like Zach from Ghost Adventures and do a cursed items museum?
Because I'm not looking to get involved with cursed items. I'm just looking to kind of expose them. Like I wanna know the stories behind them. I'm more fascinated with the stories, you know, and the interactions that people have had with them than actually interacting with them myself. You know, because I'm not trying to, like, I'm not a ghost hunter. I'm not a paranormal investigator. I don't really, that's not part of my forte. I don't go that route. I'm like more of like, you know, I like more of like, I'm more of like the spectator, and then I just kind of write about it. Like when I was doing horror tour guide blogs, I was going to locations that were supposedly like haunted, you know, and I would think out of all the locations, I mean, and some of these were like really, you know, really bad things happen. Like there was one with the triangle fire where over 126 girls like plunged to their death. Like they committed suicide because they were trapped in this warehouse fire and they couldn't get out. And then I went to the Poe's Edgar Allan Poe, where his wife passed away, his last residency, the Poe Cottage. And I went to the Whaley Museum out in San Diego that had to deal with a whole family that kept like locks of hair, and supposedly there was, you know, a lot of people had died at that house, and the house was supposedly cursed because it was built on top of where they had gallows, like infamous like hangings for like the longest. And this guy decided that he was like a mayor or some shit, and he decided to build his house right on that. And there was, you know, but I never felt anything until I reached this one place, and I didn't even go inside. I was actually outside, and maybe it was because of all the horrendous stuff, and for the fact that I was kind of like, one of the stories connected with me because I remember growing up, and I remember the story about Lisa Steinberg and the little girl that got beat up by her father to the point, her adopted father, illegally adopted by the way, and he basically killed her in this house. But like in this building there were, you know, reports of like, you know, a dark entity, and you know, a lot of like murders happened in this building. There was like 6 of them. They call it the murder house, ironically, over time. So it's not like everything happened in one shot. You know, Mark Twain lived there at one point, and
Sounds like
yeah, it was a fascinating story. But when I was standing in front of it, there was like some weird shit behind me. Like it was weird, and I was with someone that's seen it too. So it was just like, I mean, it made my hair stand to the point that I was just like, okay, let's get away from the building. Like I don't even want to like go inside, you know. But yeah, so I'm more like, I like to create. I like to think of things and create creatures and monsters and scenarios and stories. I don't like to like, you know, factually, I don't want to be a part of that. You know, I don't want to go looking for something that might accidentally attach to me or follow me or possess my house or, you know, yeah, I'll take a pass on that. I mean, those that want to collect them, and that's what fascinates me. Like I want to meet these people. Like, what the fuck? Like, why do you have these things? Why do you have these cursed objects? Like, why? One of the people that's gonna be part of the show, he actually owns a museum. I believe it's called the Museum of the Afterlife or something like that. But he's been on the Ghost Hunter show. He's worked with Zach Bagans, and he actually has a whole museum full of cursed objects. And actually, he's gonna be on like almost every episode because of the fact that he has an object for every one of my episodes.
Well, I can relate to that because I have a gaming cluster full of cursed people. So.
Oh my. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of it's funny. It's just like it's very interesting. It's just very interesting. But But I feel like I'll leave that to the people that like to do that kind of shit. I'm like I actually try to like veer away from that stuff. Like I don't believe in channeling up things or seances or any of that shit. I don't do any of that. Nope.
Well, we've got the 2 minutes left, so in 30 seconds, my last 30 seconds, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna sound like Scream movie here, and I'm gonna go, what's your favorite scary movie?
Okay. I would have to say Bram Stoker's Dracula is one of my favorites. Yeah, followed by the original Pet Sematary and Poltergeist.
I actually didn't mind the remake of Poltergeist.
Yeah, but there's something about the original that was like extra spooky. It was a little creepy, the remake, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed the original, and then Gage, come on. Could never, it's just, I don't know, it's nostalgic. There's just something about it that, I think it was very ahead of its time. Same thing with Bram Stoker's, for the time with the effects that they used and the powerful, creepy story behind it. I think it was well written, well executed, well directed. So those are my favorites.
Well, I've posted your website there in the chat. I think we got about 2 minutes left, so
yeah, if you guys want to come on, I'm mostly on Facebook. So if you want to join the Horror Tour Guide on Facebook, and come chat with me and see my crazy memes and welcome to my virtual horror world. And thank you guys. It was fun. Thank you, Matthew, for having me. You rock.
No problem. I'll definitely have to have you back again. And sorry you're feeling unwell. Hopefully you get to feeling better soon.
Feeling a lot better now. I don't know. I think it was something that I ate. It just made me like I wanted to throw up, but I didn't throw up anything. Thank God.
Well, I look forward to seeing what projects you're working on in the future, and you and I are definitely going to have a talk about this event idea that you have, because I might have access to a couple of venues in Florida. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep me posted. Hey, if you know anybody that has any cursed paintings that would like to be on the show, I'd love to, have a talk with them.
All right. Well, Nick, you got to get busy and paint something so we can curse it. We appreciate you, Cindy, and everyone says thank you as well. They had a lot of fun listening in.
Have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.